Hello, everyone. May I have your attention, please? My name is Jim Chung, and I'm the director of the GW Office of Entrepreneurship. And we're very excited to have you all here for our third annual GW Business Plan competition. So if I can ask you all before we start to turn off your cell phones and make sure all those things are ready and you're all settled in, then we'll start. So before we jump into the incredible program we have here, I wanted to take an opportunity to tell you a little bit about some of the activities we have going on in entrepreneurship here at GW. If you haven't heard of my office before, it's because it's a very young office. We've only been around for just about 1 year. And so when we had this competition last year, I had been in the job only a couple days. So now, though, I have a lot of stuff to report. This office was created by the university largely through the efforts of our alumni and our students who got together and said, we really need to do some more in entrepreneurship. And there are really two reasons why the university then went along with this and agreed that this was a good thing. First of all, entrepreneurship is increasingly important to the economy and the workforce. A recent Kauffman Foundation study looked at the years 1977 to 2005 and found that all new net job growth in the United States has been from startups. And they define startups as companies less than 1 year old. So if you can believe it, 3 million jobs on average during that time period per year were created by startups. The other interesting statistic that they found was that established companies on average for those year periods lost 1 million jobs on average annually. So the conclusion here is that if you really want to drive jobs, you've got to start looking at what the startups are doing and fostering them. A second interesting statistic is that a higher percentage of people in the workforce are becoming entrepreneurs. More people will become entrepreneurs in their career, so it's a skill set that is becoming increasingly relevant for our students today. So this is why the university believes that entrepreneurship is really important, especially for young people. One statistic I found is that 5.6 million Americans under 34 are entrepreneurs today in the United States. So it's a big and growing area of economic activity. Second thing is we are having a push here at the university to increase our research activity. We have such initiatives in place as the Science and Engineering Complex, which you may have heard of, that we're building starting this year. It's a $250 million complex for science and medical and engineering research. We want to be able to provide an outlet for the research that's going on here to get things out of the lab and into the real world. Because there's a lot of great technologies and research that we're working on here at the university that's going to be leading to saving lives, increasing productivity, et cetera. So we have an ambitious program here on entrepreneurship. We've got 4 things that we're doing through my office. We're fostering innovation, education, venture creation, and connecting people. So on the innovation side, for example, we have restructured the Office of Technology Transfer so that we're working with our inventors here to get their technologies out into the real world. We've, for example, licensed 2 technologies from GW to very prominent startup companies and entrepreneurs out there, one of which is a Fast Company 50 Most Innovative Startup, and the other one to an entrepreneur who's brought his 3 previous startups public. So we are working on getting our technologies out of the lab through entrepreneurship into the real world. We've also got educational programs like this business plan competition. We are doing a bunch of workshops around the business plan competition. On average, 1 workshop a week since we kicked off in October. And we've had hundreds of students and alumni and other participants in these workshops. We've launched a mentor program. This year we had 32 mentors who are mentoring each of the teams that made it to the quarterfinal round of our business plan competition. And we're launching other programs such as Activate at GW, which is a women's entrepreneurship program out of our Virginia Science and Technology campus, is geared towards women technologists. And for those of you who didn't know, we have an extremely strong women's entrepreneurship program here at the university already. Programs that have been launched by Kathy Corman Fry, as well as Amy Millman. and now the Activate program with Renee Lewis. We're working on venture creation, and we're launching a new mentorship program that'll be starting after this business plan competition. Some of it was mentioned in the Washington Post recently. We're cooperating with organizations like Founder Corps, Entrepreneurs Organization, to provide mentors to our student startups that are coming out of the university. And GWORT, which is one of our alumni entrepreneurship organizations, is helping to spearhead that effort. On the connection side, we had a great event on March 31st called the Startup Career Expo, where we brought together a bunch of startups in the local area to meet our students. We had almost 200 students that were participating and 32 startups that were hiring our students for internships and positions. So you can see we're doing a lot in entrepreneurship here at GW. We're really trying to create a hub of activity for the DC area at GW in entrepreneurship. Please take advantage of all the resources we have here, because there's a lot. And there's a flyer that was handed out at the registration desk. I hope you can take a look at that, visit our website, and take advantage of our office hours. Now, I'd also like to talk about the people who make this business plan competition possible, and that's our sponsors. Our founding sponsors are Rick and Ann Scott, and today we are fortunate to have Ann Scott sitting here in the front. Unfortunately, Rick couldn't make it because he is running the state of Florida right now, so he's a little bit too busy to come and join us. But we're thrilled to have Ann here with us as well. Our internal sponsors have been extremely important. This is the first year that we've had a cross-school initiative, so we've got the business school, the engineering school, Columbian College, and the medical school all have kicked in money to make this possible. That's how we were able to get from our original funding last year of $30K in prizes up to $50K in prizes this year. And I want to thank all the schools that have been involved with that. Our GW Alumni Association has been great in contributing money, as well as their partnership in making everything happen. And the Center for Entrepreneurial Excellence, who have been longstanding leaders in entrepreneurship, both here and as pioneers in the field of entrepreneurship education for actually many decades. I want to thank our corporate sponsors. iStrategy Labs is a fast-growing creative agency working with everyone from Fortune 500 brands to the NPR, PBS, and even the U.S. Army on digital and experiential marketing campaigns, experimental uses of social media, civic innovation projects, and full-blown festivals. So the prize that they have offered is that the winning team will get a half-day custom lab with a select group of the iStrategy Labs team, where they'll be able to spend the morning refining their business model, what they say, jamming on a new idea or bringing on old to life, with plenty of coffee to go around in their DuPont Circle location. Now, to give you an idea of how valuable this prize is, one of the teams came up to me and said, "You know what? I don't really care about the money. I just want to get that custom lab from iStrategy Labs." So we're really excited to have them as a partner, and I know that they've been a great partner in planning a lot of the events that we've done as well. One of our other sponsors, Blank Rome, is a law firm. It's a full-service law and government relations firm that is one of the biggest in the U.S. with more than 500 lawyers. Practice areas include corporate, private equity, government contract, patent, trademark, export, employment, immigration, international trade, and taxation. They have offices in D.C., New York, Hong Kong, Los Angeles, and among other offices. Now, they've provided cash for us, as well as offering $1,000 in legal services for each of the final 4 companies. So everyone who makes it to the finals next year will be getting $1,000 of legal services from Blank Rome. They can use it for any of the services that Blank Rome offers. So whether it's incorporation, whether they want to try to patent something, it's available for all that. And Peter Weissman is a great partner for us there. He's at Blank Rome and was one of the founders of GWORT as well, and is a judge, and I really appreciate your contributions here. Now, I'd like to then introduce our director of the business plan competition, John Rollins. He has been the director of this for the last 4 years, was instrumental in getting this started and approaching the Scotts about the idea. He's also an adjunct professor of entrepreneurship here at GW. He is himself a serial entrepreneur and has launched at least 2 companies that I know of, Aztec Software Corporation and Stream Center. And John, I'd love for you to come up here and kick things off.
Thank you, Jim. I'd like to welcome everybody to this celebration of entrepreneurship and innovation. This is our third year, as you know, and the competition keeps growing every year. Jim talked about how we have 32 mentors that worked with the 32 top teams in preparation for today. He also talked about the workshops that we've been running since last October, literally every week, teaching market research and how to do financial projections, how to do great oral presentations like you'll hear today. But there are two other ways in which the competition has grown. One is simply in the number of teams. We have 112 teams that entered the competition this year on January 31st. That was an increase of 11% from last year, which had been the previous record. And I love 11% growth rates. That's even greater than the growth in the GDP of China. So I think we're doing something right here with entrepreneurship. And then the second area in which we've really expanded the competition this year is with the prize money. The first 2 years it was a $30,000 cash prize. This year we have $50,000 in cash, as well as the prizes from the sponsors that Jim described. So this afternoon you're going to hear 8 fascinating presentations, all wildly different from each other. Everything from environmentally sustainable dinnerware to a helium blimp that can carry commuters in the Washington area over the clogged arteries. So they are wildly different. I think you're going to enjoy them. So this is really the third leg in our triathlon, if you want to think of it that way. The first leg was the executive summaries that the students wrote on January 31st. And we picked the top 32 of those. So we only took, turns out it's 29% survival rate. If you're into survivor type statistics, 29% survived the first leg of the triathlon. Only 25% survived the second leg, which was the 20-page written business plan. And that got us down to 8. And you're going to hear from those 8 survivors today. And today we're going to have a survival rate of 50% because our judges are going to choose the top 4 teams to come back tomorrow morning to be ranked and to divide up that $50,000 pie. Let me introduce our judges. Ashok, could you stand up? Ashok is both an undergrad and graduate student previously from GW, both a BS and an MS in engineering. And he's also on the SEAS National Advisory Council. He worked with NASA as a scientist in the early part of his career, and then he founded a company called ADNET, and ADNET produces various IT solutions for different government agencies, including NASA. Second, we have Matt Howard. Matt, could you stand up for a second? Matt did his undergrad work here at GW before going to graduate school elsewhere. He too has entrepreneurial DNA in his blood. He's founded 2 businesses. The most recent one he was just telling me about earlier this afternoon called ZoomSafer. He started just 3 years ago, and love that name, ZoomSafer. It's for drivers of commercial vehicles so that they can drive more safely when they have mobile devices that would tempt them to text. Interesting business. Third, we have Howard Tischler. Howard, stand up. Howard did his graduate work at GW. Got his master's degree in operations research from School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. And Howard is the chairman of the board of the National Advisory Council of SEAS. He's founded 3 companies, more entrepreneurial DNA, and the most recent one called Enfocel, he's currently the CEO of. Fourth, Peter Weissman. You just heard Peter's name a minute ago. Peter is a graduate of GW Law School, a partner with Blank Rome, which you just heard about from Jim, and a founder of the GWERT, George Washington Entrepreneurs Roundtable, which is a sponsor of the award that he'll be giving out later this afternoon to another of our esteemed alumni, Ed Barrientos. Okay, before we get started, I'd like to introduce Ann Scott, who's our special guest here today. As you heard from Jim, She recently had to relocate from Naples, Florida, to the governor's mansion in Tallahassee, Florida, when her husband got elected governor of Florida. But Ann and Rick are the founding sponsors of this competition. And Ann, like Rick, is an entrepreneur, has a degree in business administration, and founded her own business in Naples. And we're fortunate to have Ann here for another reason, and that's because her daughter Allison, who is going to be one of our final round judges tomorrow, and whose lovely picture, by the way, is on page 10 of your program, is not able to be with us, and so Ann has agreed to be one of our judges tomorrow morning. Ann, come on up and give us your wisdom.
Well, I have to say that was a very kind introduction. First off, it is always such a pleasure for me to be here at GW. We always get such a warm reception from all of you, and hopefully it's not just because we're sponsors of the competition, but we spent a lot of time here when Allison was in school here. And I'm so excited to be a participant in the competition also. And GW was so kind to ask me to be a judge in the finals when Allison ended up ill. So I am very honored to be a finals judge. I would also like to thank our new sponsors, as well as everyone at GW who made this event happen, because both Rick and I know it takes a lot of time and effort to get this, have this event take place. Rick and I, our family, started this event to encourage GW students and alumni who had an inventive business idea and to create a little competition. And it has done just that. On behalf of the competition, Rick, Allison, we wish all of you, the teams, the best of luck. Have fun with it also. And I would just say, let the games begin.
Great. Before our first team begins, let me just go over the rules. It's really very simple. They each get 20 minutes. And then that'll be followed by 5 minutes of Q&A from the judges, approximately 5 minutes of Q&A. Kevin May, seated right here in the front on the aisle, is the assistant director of the business plan competition, and he is the official timekeeper, and he'll hold up 3-minute, 2-minute, and 1 minute signals to the teams, and then when their 20 minutes is up, if they're still talking, he'll give them the hook, as they say. And we'll also take a break after the fourth presentation and have a little intermission, and then proceed with the fifth one at that point. So without further ado, we'd like to hear from Shoestring Films.